Hello there, my spooky, scary skeletons. It's Chloe in real life, your guide to the ghoulish, the sharer of the spook, and a fan of all things frightful. Today is a very special day because this marks the very first episode of Spooky Saturdays, the one day of the week that we can really embrace our spooky side. So, in order to celebrate this very first episode, we're going to be talking about a place that I find really interesting, and now it has a movie about it. The Winchester film just came out yesterday, February 2nd, and I really enjoyed it. I'm here to give you my first impressions and a brief summary and some history about the Winchester Mystery House that it was based on. The Winchester Mystery House is an amazing and beautiful house that is located in San Jose, California, that is home to over 100 different rooms. It includes staircases that lead to the ceilings and doors that lead to nowhere. It is a truly twisted and maze-like house. So, let's get into some history. Sarah and William Winchester were the creators of the Winchester rifle that became extremely popular during the Civil War. After the tragic death of Sarah's husband and daughter, Sarah began to believe that she was haunted and cursed by the spirits killed by the Winchester rifle. She began to construct a maze-like house to confuse and disorient the spirits that were haunting her. And construction lasted for 20 years and ended only a week before Sarah's death. When you look at the house, it is just amazing how many rooms there are and how much work and thought went into every bit of the house. It's very detailed and beautiful, even though it's so big and there's so much land to cover. And I'm very excited because I am hoping to visit the Winchester house this year. And if I do, I will definitely let you guys know. It's actually one of the most haunted mansions in California, if not the whole United States. So let's talk about the film. The film stars Helen Mirren and Jason Clarke, and it was inspired by the true events of the Winchester house, such as Sarah's guilt for all the lives that the Winchester rifle took, and her continuous building of the house. But from there, they did take a lot of creative license to make it a horror film. So, let's travel back in time to yesterday when I went to go see the film.
So I just finished watching Winchester, and oh my goodness, it was really good. I would have to give it about 4 out of 5 spooks, because I love that they kept to the history of it. I found that really interesting, and I am a huge fan of the history of the Winchester Mystery House, and I loved how they brought over some of the history bits while still making it a really interesting story, and frankly quite spooky. Oh my goodness, it was pretty scary. Usually in horror movies, you can kind of expect when the jump scares are coming, and dude, I got really scared. Some jump scares in this got me really off guard, and I might have screamed a little bit. Sorry, other people in the theater. But if you are a fan of the Winchester Mystery House, I would say definitely check this film out. It is really spooky, really cool, and I am a super huge fan of the Winchester Mystery House, and I really liked it. I also love how Helen Mirren totally looked like Sarah Winchester.
So, in summary, I give this film 4 out of 5 spooks. I really enjoyed it, and I loved what they did with the jump scares, because in most horror films, jump scares are usually really predictable, and you can kind of prepare yourself, and they don't give you that really shock scare that you would hope to get. But with this film, they kind of do a plot twist with their jump scares where they set you up for one thing and then they spin it around and it's a totally different scare. And that really got me, and I was really scared, and who doesn't love being scared? It's such a fun feeling. So I loved that part because you don't see that in a lot of horror films. And another reason I totally loved this film was because I'm a super huge fan of the Winchester house, and I knew that other people in the audience were big fans too because they were talking about the history as they walked out, and it got me so excited to kind of go back and do some research. And I'm really hoping, fingers crossed you guys, I'm really hoping I can go this year because I had this newfound love for the house. But the reason I didn't give it that final 5th spook was because this is more of a tame horror film. It doesn't really have any gore, or it doesn't have a lot of language or some other inappropriate stuff that can be found in a lot of horror films. So I really think that this is a good film for some younger tweens or early teens, or even people that are a little nervous about scary films. I think this is great because it's not super scary, or it isn't that stay with you scary. Like, I'm not nervous that the haunted spirits of the Winchester house are going to be at my house. I'm not super worried about that. So I don't think you guys have to be either. Unless you're Sarah Winchester, then I think I'd be worried. But again, those who are super intense with their horror films, this is going to be a little bit mild for you. So there you have it, my first impressions and reviews of the new Winchester film, and the very first episode of Spooky Saturdays is complete. But don't worry, you guys, because there will be plenty more where this came from. I'm planning on doing some creepy crafts, some frightening foods, and even visiting a few haunted places, maybe. I'm very excited. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified every time we make a spooky video just like this one. And I will see you all in my next video. Stay spooky!